Good morning and thank you for joining us here on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Jason Hackett. Let's get right to your headlines. Our top story this morning, the man charged with killing Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband and shooting a senator and his wife is back in court after an unexpected twist in the case. He's accused of shooting all four down in their homes and then leading police on a two-day manhunt. That case shocking Minnesota and the nation. Audrey Russo's in St. Paul with what we can expect today.
Vance Belter is set to appear in court at 2:30 this afternoon, and this hearing will determine whether he should remain in custody without bail. It'll also determine whether or not there's enough probable cause to proceed with the case. Belter is charged with stalking, shooting, and killing Melissa and Mark Hortman and attempting to kill Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. He's being held in the Sherburne County Jail. Belter complained about the facility last week, telling the judge he couldn't sleep because of the lights and the constant door slamming. The judge postponed the hearing to today. The Sherburne County Sheriff released a statement shortly after that decision was made, saying, quote, "He's not in a hotel, he's in jail." The sheriff also said Belter was seen on security cameras resting in his cell with his eyes closed for about 7 straight hours. Belter did arrive for his court appearance last week in a pickle suit, which is meant for prisoners who are on suicide watch. Belter did tell the judge that he is not suicidal. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you. This morning we've learned the burglary trial for State Senator Nicole Mitchell will take place in less than 2 weeks, and the prosecution is asking the judge to prevent her stepfather from testifying. According to a court filing, Mitchell's stepfather is expected to testify that the alleged victim in the case, Mitchell's stepmother, was declining mentally, which may have caused her statements to police to be exaggerated and inaccurate. Mitchell is accused of breaking into the woman's home, dressed in all black, and trying to steal items belonging to her late father. Prosecutors argue that the stepfather's testimony would be improper opinion and hearsay. This morning, we're less than 24 hours out from barbecues, campfires, and fireworks as people celebrate the 4th of July, but hospitals are also preparing. Michelle Beck is in Minneapolis with the most common burns that doctors see and how to avoid them.
Yeah, I spoke to a burn doctor about all this, and he tells me, that some people start their fireworks a couple days in advance. So it's possible, given that information, that right now hospitals are treating people with fireworks-related injuries. HCMC's John Gakin explained to me why fireworks have become such a common injury around July 4th. The burn doctor has seen flames from sparklers catch onto clothes, and particularly in drier years, things like fire bottle rockets could land on structures, leading to people getting hurt. It's really alarming when people hold on to a firework or stand too close to one. That could lead to injuries as serious as losing a part of a hand. Now, besides fireworks, another common summertime injury is related to campfires, even after you think you've put it out.
Oftentimes there's coals that are residual from those fires that are still very hot. And little kids will sometimes trip over the fire thresholds, like rock edges or any type of ledge. They'll trip over and fall into these coals. Now, the burn patterns they sustain from that is typically on the palms of their hands, sometimes on their forearms, and sometimes on their faces, actually.
Now, we know that it's actually a big deal when there are burns to kids' palms, where there are a lot of nerve endings. We know that scars could lead to disfiguring. Plus, their range of motion could be limited as well, something definitely to take seriously here. Back to you.
Michelle, thank you very much. Right now, plans are in the work right now to make sure it's a safe 4th of July for everyone in Minneapolis. City leaders announced their new safety plan, hoping to avoid chaotic scenes that unfolded the last few years. Minneapolis police say there will be extra officers on the ground and closed roads in areas with high levels of problematic behavior, which they say worked last year. Some of them include Lake Harriet Parkway, areas around the Bedé-McCoska Parkways, and the Boom Island parking lot. We have a full list at KARE11.com. And if your July 4th plans include going out on Minnesota's 11,842 lakes, and yes, we counted, expect to see extra patrols there as well. The DNR is boosting patrols Friday through Monday for what they're calling Operation Dry Water. The campaign highlights the danger of boating under the influence and emphasizes BWI penalties.
You might think that just having one drink before driving a boat isn't a big deal, but it changes everything. It puts your life at risk, the life of your passengers at risk, and everyone's life's at risk out on the water.
The DNR says nearly half of all boating deaths involve alcohol. Boating officials say you should also make sure that you have fire extinguishers and life jackets on board. Developing right now, we're following a deadly start to the holiday weekend in Chicago. 2 men and 2 women are dead after a shooting downtown late last night that left more than a dozen others hurt. Police say it happened as people were leaving a nightclub following an album release party. Investigators say a dark-colored vehicle drove by and someone inside started shooting.
When I arrived last night, it was absolute chaos. From people screaming to blood on the streets to people laying on the streets, just a massive police presence, just horrific, more than I've ever seen.
So far, no arrests have been made. A look from Capitol Hill this morning, where debate is underway in the House of Representatives on President Trump's big, beautiful bill. House Republicans racing to pass the president's massive spending bill before the July 4th holiday, appearing to overcome opposition from a group of GOP holdouts who were holding up the process. Both President Trump and party leaders worked throughout the night to sway reluctant Republicans to yes, while Democrats hope to persuade those same lawmakers to vote no. NBC's Alice Barr has details from Washington.
Hi there. In a last stand, the top Democrat in the House holding up the final vote for hours, speaking against the bill on the House floor. That followed hours of delay from Republican holdouts, who President Trump used his considerable sway overnight to bring on board.
Passed the one big, beautiful bill.
Republicans grinding push to pass President Trump's massive tax and spending bill, hitting a hitch in the House, where GOP holdouts held up a procedural vote for hours overnight before finally voting to move ahead. House Speaker Mike Johnson fielding calls from President Trump all night.
And said, who else needs to have a discussion? I'm ready to get on the phone.
The president posting after midnight, what are the Republicans waiting for? What are you trying to prove? MAGA is not happy and it's costing you votes. Earlier in the day, he met with holdout Republicans at the White House looking to ease concerns over the bill's spending, adding substantially to the deficit.
I think we got some good information from the president.
Speaker Johnson saying he wants to avoid ping-ponging the bill with the Senate so the House can't make any changes, even though conservatives don't like Senate adjustments to clean energy credits and the Medicaid overhaul. While moderate Brian Fitzpatrick was ultimately the only Republican voting no on the procedural step, along with all Democrats, who slammed federal aid cuts projected to cost more than 11 million Americans their health insurance.
The largest cut to health care in our history, the largest transfer of wealth from working families to the billionaire class.
The extraordinary things in this bill are so important for the American people.
GOP leaders adamant the bill's key components extending the Trump tax cuts while funding defense and deportations. And the president, who wants it all done, will prove too popular for Republicans to turn down. President Trump has been pressing all along to get the bill to his desk before the July 4th holiday break begins, with concerns that allowing more changes would have stalled momentum and imperiled funding for his top domestic priorities. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
We have an update this morning on the popular performer Red Panda, who fell at the halftime of the Commissioner's Cup final on Tuesday in Minneapolis. She's out of the hospital this morning. Her agency says she broke her left wrist and will meet with a surgeon. They say her recovery could take a few months. They said the fall was caused by part of her unicycle being damaged in travel. The 8-foot drop silenced Target Center and had fans and players reacting.
To have someone with the fame, the following, who brings so much joy to so many people for so long, go down, I think a lot of people were definitely shocked.
A Lynx staffer who went to the hospital with her told us she's thankful for all of the kind wishes and support and that it means the world to her, wishing her a speedy recovery there. Stick around, more news, weather coming up after the break.